they were afraid of Phantom Lancer ban, but now Complexity have 2 picks to adapt to that one.
I mean, Phantom Lancer, when you have enough items, is very good at killing. You're talking about Brute killing the Tombstone.
Yeah.
You can use Doppelganger to kill the Tombstone. So
Indeed.
if the game gets long enough and the Phantom Lancer is strong, Undying is not going to do anything against PR.
So if they went for the Phantom Lancer, we're probably looking at a Shaker off lane, I'd say.
Yeah.
With something more late game oriented and something to secure PL's lane. So we could still see a Dazzle, you know, like Rubik Dazzle PL. It's a very, very strong lane.
Definitely, you could heal onto Illusions, that is a potential. And here we see the counter pick coming out, Ember Spirit. So this, I look over this Complexity lineup, it looks so much like an MVP draft when I just look at it.
Indeed.
So they're definitely going into the same mentality of only fighting non-stop. They actually ban out the Anti-Mage as well after the Ember pick up here. Interesting by Virtus.Pro.
It seemed like Anti-Mage is an answer to Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, Anti-Mage and PR just go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
One team goes PR, the other team goes Anti-Mage. You want to secure a late game against each other, even though it might not actually be that good of a hero to complete Complexity's lineup, but it's just like you want to take it out if you have PR.
That's how it feels so far. Every time someone drafts Phantom Lancer, we saw it. Yes, it was Empire versus MVP, where they drafted PL and Empire's answer was, alright, we're last picking an Anti-Mage, and it was the same, they had an Undying as well. They had that type of lineup.
Yeah, and late game, even if PL gets really scared with all his solutions, the Anti-Mage does deal with him really nicely.
He has Battle Fury, a lot of damage.
And then the ulti just deals so much damage, because you always have high stats on Phantom Lancer.
I'm thinking Wyvern actually here might be a good last pick for VP. Then they have a lot of defensive spells to clear out waves. PL can just have a lot of time.
I think they need one more stun, so yeah, Winter Wyvern would be good. You have the ulti, because you need lockdown against Ember Spirit. That's pretty much how you deal with that hero.
And that's what they lack right now, because Shaker is not going to go in too early.
It's so hard for a Shaker to lock down an Ember. It really is.
I mean, the other options are just weaker though. You can go Disruptor, Lion, but the lane is going to suffer. And you're up against a pressure lane, Tusk plus Undying. You have to have very strong lanes.
I don't think Lion is the play. He's not been having great success either at TI. Some teams went to it, but Lion Rubik support is just very weird combination. I think you're right on there with the Winter Wyvern.
Could also still be a Shaker support, and they're looking for, alright, there it goes. There's the Brood. So I still think Brood is a great option for them for many reasons, because out of Tusk and Undying, one of them is going to be off lane unless they want to run the 2 as supports, but that's very unlikely. And then both those off lanes can't deal with the Brood Mother, so you force Complexity to not go aggressive on the PL, because if they go aggressive, you end up with a Tusk versus Brood, which is awful, or an Undying versus Brood, which is awful as well.
Yeah, they have an issue with, right now, their lanes are very weak.
Because of the Brood,
Yeah, because of the Brood, they have to maybe alter their lanes, and it looks like...
Brood is going to create space for the PL.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge problem for them. Definitely, the lanes,
looks like a
they
storm.
need a core more or less.
Maybe
like a storm.
Legion Commander. Like, it counters PL, it counters Brood Mother. It's also pretty good against Queen of Pain, being able to duel her. Maybe it doesn't synergize the best with what you have, but at least you have Lina, so you could burst people very quickly.
LC or X are probably my top 2 versus these. I don't know. I just worry about the Ember Spirit, whether or not he's going to have a really tough time in lane. He can't really lane versus the Brood. He can't lane versus Queen of Pain. And
I mean, you can sort of lane against a corp. It depends on the first Shadow Strike. If you can actually dodge the Shadow Strike with Slide, then you're actually fine.
The Spirit combo, Ember and Storm.
I don't think it's Savages at all. There are issues with the lanes, so they probably have something in mind. The laning phase is going to be tricky.
Thank you very much. We will head into game number 3, the final game of the series, to determine which team goes on to the top 8 at the International 2015, as we head down to the arena and rejoin our commentary team of Cinderin and Toby One.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is time to find out which team will go home first here today at the International. Will it be Complexity or will it be Virtus.Pro? So far, Complexity's draft and Cinderin. There's a couple of questions above your head for it.
Yeah, I was looking at the Brood possibility earlier in the draft. We were actually saying right after the second ban phase, this could be a pick for Virtus.Pro. It could also be a good pick for Complexity, and it ends up going the whole way to the 5th pick. And Complexity, I feel like they have very limited solutions to this Brood right now. They kind of have to counter it out in lane with some really good ganks from the Tusk and Lina, I feel, in order to make this work. And as the panel pointed out, Ember Spirit will, almost no matter what lane they put him in, he's going to have a tough game. That is not, Ember plays really badly from behind, in my opinion. It's pretty snowbally in nature, and so is Storm. So with a weak early game here from Complexity, they're going to have a very difficult time pulling it back. So it's very important that I think, so as mentioned, Tusk and Lina have to make a huge impact, and Moon Meander cannot fail on his Undying. He is the one hero who alone can force enemy supports to stick around in that lane and maybe open up for Ember to find farm.
Yeah, because you're bringing up the point. It's like, okay, if Complexity have really, really bad laning at the start, what's the one hero that's been turned to time and time again throughout TI and through other games even before TI is the Undying to try and give you that lane presence. Even Tuskar as well, in the hands of Z-Freak, getting down to that bottom lane maybe, getting the shard block up, making sure you can throttle the lane back again and give VP something to worry about when it comes to their laning phase. Because right now, it looks like they're going to be doing a little bit more greedier, but you throw Broodmother down to the safe lane, and then you push the PL up north to combine up with the Rubik of Lil, and then God, we know how great he is on that Queen of Pain. He can have fun, and then you got FNG. I mentioned briefly the Tuskar shards, where he can block the creep wave off. Fissure, even better than that. So he could just throttle the middle lane out, which makes it so Swindermelons has to fight the first creep wave underneath his own tower and still find last hits. You're burning a lot of mana for that. In fact, his FNG, he's just going to body block it, no fissure block.
And he's going to let through the range creep. I like this strategy a lot more in the mid lane than blocking the wave entirely. Okay, actually, never mind. They want to block it entirely. It kind of depends on how you want to control the lane. If you let the range creep through, the enemy will naturally push yours, but at the same time, it also makes it a little bit more unstable with how you can hold it. And looks like perhaps they just want to play a little bit more of a stable approach here. They're going to drop down a sentry in the mid lane looking for any sort of high ground ward, but there's nothing placed here for Complexity.
Oh, there's no wards on either of the heroes in mid.
Swindle got the whole first wave. That's a good start, at least. A matchup that is favored by the Quap. Gets a little bit of help from the Lina basically just standing there. Prevents G from playing up aggressively.
So the answers to the lane was to get a Ember Spirit going one-on-one up against a Broodmother on the bottom. I'm not seeing that going too well for the Ember going into like a couple of minutes in. At least when you got Flame Guard, you got something to work with. I suppose too, when you get Searing Chains and you hit that level 2, then you can combine it with the Lina for the Light Strike Array, and you might better harass Broodmother out. But is that going to be enough damage to find a kill, or really just dominate the lane?
No, I really don't think they can kill this Brood. DK Phobos has to make a clear mistake, and you know, in addition to that, they don't even have sentries down here, so it is pretty much impossible right now. And for now, Complexity are going to be okay with this laning stage, but come level 3 and especially level 5 of Broodmother, he is going to bully Zizzy out of lane, I think, and it's a point when Complexity need to be careful. And once again, I think the solution for them is to rotate the Tusk with detection early on and try to kill Phobos once or twice so Zizzy gets off to a good start. Because when he hits level 6, he has a lot more flexibility, not only as far as escaping ganks himself, but also getting active out on the map. It's a pretty good hero for ganking Queen of Pain, actually, Ember Spirit. If you're feeling confident and if you're ahead a bit, you could catch up to the Blink with your ultimate, of course, and run down the Queen. Together with Storm as well. Like, they're very, very mobile. That's the big advantage their lineup has in this game.
They just have to get to that point. For now, I'm still watching this Earthshaker. It's like FNG's not 100% certain where he can find an opening. He's been sitting around, in fact, the exact area he's at now. He was there for about a minute, waiting to see if Swindle was going to go out just a little bit too far. Still Swindle, like he's used the entire bottle and comes back to the lane and still is so low. And that just goes down to what God's able to achieve here. Like, you did manage to find 13 CS on the Storm Spirit, so that's nice and good up against the Queen of Pain. But one fissure and it can change it before you're level 6 with no ball lightning away. In fact, now he's actually bailing out. He's going up to stack up the camps and let Fly have the experience in the mid.
It's the right play. Fly can farm from range, and he can go stack and get this combat farm a bit later. You can't contest Queen on her own hill at Storm Spirit at level 4. It's not advisable.
Bottom lane Fissure, just playing around a little bit here with the Ember Spirit. He doesn't want to really do anything from this. Maybe a little bit of a chip into FNG, but that's all. I'm also watching the prep here on top lane. Z-Freak's trying to find the perfect opportunity where he can snowball into Lil. And they're trying to set it up with just a couple of decays early on. And Moon's been able to get most of them off. Like, he's getting 2 heroes in most of them. But there's just no real opening just yet. So the lane's gonna remain passive.
He's still shutting down Illidan somewhat. He's got 12 CS. So 4 minutes in, this is not that great for PL. Of course, it is a little bit of a special laning situation that I do believe VP actually didn't expect. I don't think they were thinking it was even possible that Complexity would run an Ember Spirit off lane. They did go for that lane swap. And mid lane, yeah.
Well, there's your first kill. So Storm Spirit, you had to wait for that fissure as a long time, but it finally came in from FNG.
This lane is lost, actually, now for Complexity. If G gets a good rune, yeah, he's going to get a double damage. He can solo him now. G's level 6, the Storm's level 4, 4.5. And this is what happens when the mid lane gets killed off this early. Get a big lead for your own mid laner.
Is this also a time when you can actually just look for Queen of Pain to head bottom? You can probably assume there's going to be dire vision there, but right now Complexity's only vision is watching the top river area and then a deep observer ward which is blocking the pull camp on bot lane.
He can, but at the same time, it's way more valuable for them to shut down the Storm. Like this.
So you just don't care about the Ember Spirit. Yeah, they can just keep going again. Is there enough damage? With that attack, no god, he's got bottle charges and one charges. He's alive.
I'm wondering why G didn't just bottle up a bit earlier and use the DD in the fog. Well, I guess there's no dire ward actually, so he has to have the Sonic Wave for that kill. That's what I was expecting, and why, okay, you get a double damage rune, you have a Fissure, Sonic Wave, and Scream, you can definitely take him down, but if you blink into melee range just to Scream and use Shadow Strike, he's just going to turn on you with Static Remnant and Overload, and you're not going to get that kill. Of course, Storm with the high base armor, pretty resistant against that double damage compared to other heroes.
FNG still waiting for this perfect fissure time. But God's got no mana to do a combo. So until that bottle comes back out again, he's just going to be waiting a lot longer. Still, this Ember Spirit's found a lot of farm down here. The Broodmother hasn't pressured him as much as I thought he was going to. We do now have a level 6 Broodmother. But you got Brood farming up, PL farming up, as well as Queen of Pain out-leveling the mid. Like if you just look at that in itself, Complexity are in a little bit of trouble here. But the Ember's found farm as well, even if the Storm is behind. So the Ember doesn't have a bad start.
On the other hand, though, DK4, actually Fly's in a lot of trouble here.
Fly is so dead right now. The Light Strike Array, there's just no way out. No Spawn Spiderlings. They're going to move up, cancelling off the salve. Now, yep, there's that one attack, and if he commits, he can do it. The Spiderlings getting Light Strike Arrayed up. Fly continues to run away, and the Spiderlings will retreat.
Very good play from Fly there under pressure, being able to survive through that. I think Phobos is making the right call here, by the way, going for a rushed Orchid. It's going to allow him to solo up Ember. Ember has no counterplay. This hero is really based on not being silenced. You can't cast Flame Guard, you can't jump away with Remnant. And Phobos will be able to find a lot of farm here. He has a lot of mana regen already with Soul Ring and double Sage's Mask, and he can rotate the Spiderlings into the jungle, especially come level 7. He'll be able to farm both lane and jungle very effectively. And Complexity's heroes just can't really counter that, right? Once again, the only real gank potential they would have is to either rotate Tusk down with a Dust or the Storm. And
Speaking
in
of
either
rotation,
case, he's still farming the jungle.
But when are you going to move the Undying out this lane? We've had an Undying just going directly up against the PL, but it's a farm trade-off at this point. There's no kill potential at all. Do you... is Complexity waiting until Virtus.Pro try something and then they move him in, like bottom lane, Phobos? Oh, that's some quick burst.
They actually got him.
Yeah, Searing Chains into Light Strike Array, and with a level 2 Slave, it's a lot of damage.
And when they have the Sentry, and now that, of course,
here's that TP, top lane, the Fissure is on Undying, he drops a Tombstone in the Soul Rip, it's nowhere near enough to stay alive. So the Tombstone gets triggered and will be brought down here.
150 gold for G. It's a level 4 Tombstone already at minute 7.
Not to mention his kill, the second of the game and the second for Virtus.Pro. He's up to 3.8k net worth. He's a full 1,000 net worth in front of the Ember Spirit. Even more in front of the Storm. In fact, he's almost got 2,000 more net worth than the Storm Spirit.
Yep.
Tusk is trapped, and God needs to beat him down. Shadow Strike or something. Like, Z-Freak's got nowhere to run here. He doesn't want to use it. In fact, the Snowball's going to come in. I'm fairly certain that's targeted on God. Yep, there's your Snowball up. He's dragging him as far in as possible, but closer towards the H's of Scream. Barely reaches him in time, but still. Now the third kill coming in for the Queen of Pain.
And Storm was not interested in getting involved. Had 300 mana, no bottle on him, no Soul Ring. Didn't have made any difference there. So another kill for G. He's now 3-0 on that mid lane Queen of Pain. It just seems like whenever he gets Queen of Pain, he actually gets a really, really good start. He also did in game 1, but of course Virtus.Pro did end up losing that game. So a couple of crucial mistakes. This time they're looking to play it a little more stable and also have the late game secured here with the Phantom Lancer, who is getting good farm.
Phobos.
Ember's leading, killing some broodlings here.
Yeah, he actually had a moment there where he thought he had Phobos. They'd have to dive into the tree line to do it.
And look at the net worth overall, how far ahead G is right now. 4,600.
Yep.
Second on the board is 34.
You talked about the effect of the Orchid on the Broodmother. You're going to get it on the Queen of Pain as well very, very early on.
It sucks playing Ember against this. 2 fast Orchids really limits your impact with the hero. And Storm. Like both of these heroes. This itemization I can 100% get behind. I've been a very big Orchid fan at this tournament. I feel like we've seen it too little relative to how good I feel like it is against a lot of the heroes in the metagame right now. And this game, VP are looking to show why it will be a very good pickup.
Complexity, however, are setting a trap on bottom lane. They've got the Sentry Ward down, so they're hoping that they can get the Searing Chain off, because with the Guna Blade on the Lina, finding a pick-off is quite easy for this lane. While on top lane, the shards onto Illidan, Moon Meander. Oh, no, there's the Doppelganger away. But Snowball, he actually went for it. Going in deep, but Lil's going to be here to control up Z-Freak. And Illidan is going to be a pretty easy kill. Moon throws down the Tombstone. They're forcing him back. These PL illusions cannot go any further. The Undying Army is just too strong. So they'll have to let it go. At the same time now, Swindle, it's the rotation. He's wanting just to jump himself behind. Unfortunately, no Soul Ring, no extra mana. He cannot get behind that tier 1 tower and still have mana for control.
He's also walking through 2 wards right now. VP have really good coverage as Fly is going to get solo down here at bottom. It was just a matter of time before Phobos managed to do it. The first attempt he had, Fly managed to avoid it.
He committed so heavily for that, though. Like, directly behind the tier 2 tower. But what does he lose? He's regenerating in 12 life a second.
And Zizzy's Flame Guard's going to run out. Phobos is going to run on him immediately now. There is no counterplay. He has to jump out. With no Flame Guard on, he has to wait for that cooldown. It's more free farm for Phobos. A little bit surprised to see him keep all his Broodlings in the lane constantly here. I think he could maximize his farm by just moving some of them at least into the jungle. Keeping some in lane, but he's very intent on keeping them in lane. And in addition to that, he's also losing some of his babies here to the Ember, which would not happen in the jungle either.
Downside of Flame Guard.
He might do it now. No, he's keeping them around himself.
It's like he just wants to have the damage. Wait until it times out. He's keeping them right on the edge of that sentry, which now times out.
Look at that perfect circle they form. It's beautiful. Oh, here we go.
Poetry in motion. And well, there goes your Flame Guard, and you're right. He's got Spirits behind. So he's not going to find any openings here, Phobos. But at least he can make the Ember Spirit a little bit more unsettled. Whilst on top lane, where the pressure is being applied by Virtus.Pro. Now, most of that lineup's not going to be spotted until Lil came close to the tree line. So they know there's at least 2 heroes up here. And God, with a rotation up out of the mid, that's also scattered out by the Observer Ward, which is sitting on the high ground of the Complexity side of the mid-river. And Illidan wants to add more pressure, but he knows he's got no creep wave left anymore. The Undying can just turn around by throwing down a Tombstone as well. So Virtus.Pro forcing the issue here won't really work until they've got their Orchids up and running.
I think just slow playing it as VP here with maybe an occasional gank is perfect. If PL is farming and if Quap and Orchid get their Quap and Brood get their Orchids within the next few minutes, as it looks like they will, both of them are actually getting close already. 2 Orchids at minute 15, you can just turn on the aggression. Go look for these key pickoffs. And let's remember how good Brood is at ganking mid. He can start spinning a web down there.
Speaking of that, God gonna go on Swindle. Sonic Wave, he holds it, but blinks forward, and Sonic Wave's the courier of all things. Committal is real while Lena's dying in the bottom. The revenge kill will be here for Ember Spirit. He's actually getting through Phobos, but no. Says he doesn't have enough. Will TP back to base.
He used everything he had, and Phobos had Insatiable Hunger running. He's never going to be able to bring him down. Gets out. But it's another kill for VP and the courier.
And more time for Swindlemelons being out of lane. How often have we seen him just either running between lane to jungle to base to bottle up, to come back to lane to take damage, and then again having to move back out of lane again? This Storm Spirit might have managed to hit level 10, but he's still, like, the levels, even though it's only going to look like it's 1 level the difference between 10 and 11, that's a lot of movement for experience points. There's Queen of Pain with a level 2 ulti to do that.
Orchid number 1, 13 minutes. And G will have Orchid number 2 at about 14 with Tread's Bottle, Wand, and a Null Talisman. This is very, very early, by the way. It's only 200 gold short right now. Looking for it in mid. This is when you don't want to get ganked. This would be the worst possible timing. And they're actually maybe setting up for it.
Phobos has found one. Is Z-Freak? Oh no, he didn't go for it. He could have thrown down another web and potentially just gone for the Orchid attack.
Yep. Maybe afraid of the turnaround potential of Ember.
His Spider Army is waiting for him. They're not going for it. Instead, it's going to be top lane. Fly coming into the room, being picked up, thrown down. Lil, who's still been holding onto those stolen shards for a good 30 seconds, just easily mops up the Lina.
Lets them go and steal Slave, and uses that one too.
Under attack.
This game is looking really, really good for VP as far as the game plan goes. I haven't seen the Undying have any impact so far. He did not deny the farm for PL. He has not forced down any towers with Tombstone.
Spirit, the Orchid, the Fissure! Well off target, but still the Tusker snowballing in. God's going to blink himself away.
Might actually work to their advantage. They didn't get baited in because that Fissure missed. If that would have hit him, they would have committed for it. They could have easily lost their Brood under the tower. He's got great aggressive potential with the Orchid, but he has 950 health and 5 armor. That's a very, very easy kill for the Dire side.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So 15 minutes in now, we send the Ember Spirit up to the top lane. So a rotation for him finally to find some safer farm. And they move the level 9, almost level 10 Undying, who's also managed to pick up that cloak as well as mech. A very difficult to kill off hero, and now you start to wonder, is the Orchid enough? Is even FNG's presence down here enough to find the kill on the Undying?
No, they can't kill him with these two, but they don't need to. That's the whole point. Their lineup is really good at just split pushing. PL in one lane, Brood in the other, Quap in the third, and you just have Complexity's heroes move around without really being able to put much pressure. Like, they're gathering 3 heroes down here. Something needs to happen soon.
Well, they have the Yule Scepter over on Swindle, so
they forced him into a defensive item.
He's going to TP into the tier 1 tower in mid and farm that up. I was actually thinking it was going to be a way to initiate over on the Broodmother, set him up for the rest of Complexity to come, but now it's the top lane where Illidan's pressuring. The Undying TP's up to try and do something about it. Hasn't been revealed yet. In fact, Lil and God on a bit of a ward mission. Actually, bottom lane. There's that Orchid attack from Phobos. Still got spawn Spirelings, and Z-Freak should actually pop from the Orchid attack. A good kill for Virtus.Pro. And with a big army of Spirelings like this, they can start beating into this tier 1 tower very shortly.
They are just moving them around the map. The TP from Undying ultimately ends in the death of Tusk. And he had no business being in the top lane. He can't kill the PL anyway. He's not assisting in it. Their support cast, it's the Tusk and Lina who have to set up the ganks. We've got 1 kill on Fly. That's the only kill Complexity has. And
bottom lane,
it's simply necessary.
Jump in by Swindle, going down on Phobos, but they need detection. The dust, it doesn't actually hit him, and now FNG with the stuns. The Yule Scepter actually breaking off. Well, the audio is breaking off the Orchid, but there's 2 of them where they came from. Storm able to jump away, very, very low on life, but the snowball's going to make sure the Tuskar's going to drop.
Rubik steals nothing. What?
He got snowball.
He stole empty space. It is a snowball, though.
Yeah. He's got an initiation factor, but that just shows you what happens with that Yule Scepter. Should be very happy he got into the snowball at the start because he managed to avoid the sonic wave, but still it connected on the other 2 players.
It kept Storm alive, though. The Lina stun did. So, Swindle gets out alive. But it's a problem when you build a Yules to counter an Orchid and there's just 2 of them.
Yep.
Counter the first one, you just go again, almost bring him down. And Complexity can't find a foothold in this game. Like, they're finding some decent farm on some of their heroes, but they're not really putting it to use for anything else than just farming up more. But they're not winning that game either. 5,000 gold behind. They're slowly going to start losing their map control as Brood now takes the bottom tier 1. He can start chipping away at mid tier 1 if he wants to build like a bridge over to the mid lane from bottom. At the same time, PL has taken half the top tier 1, and it's just finding good farm as well. VP are in total control of this game.
It's not just farm as well for Illidan. Like, he might have like the drums, the Aquila, the treads, but he's also sitting on 1,500 gold and 7,000 net worth, a level 11. And when this Juxtapose hits level 3, which probably won't be far away, so there's Storm Spirit. There's no second Orchid this time around. And in fact, Storm going to jump in deeper. He got the dust over on Phobos, but then FNG with the stun. Swindle, he's low on mana, but it's enough to get back. But this PL, like, he's meant to be an offlaner. He's got more than the Complexity core has. And with this pressure that's being applied, I'd also say that the farm battle should be won by Virtus.Pro, but still Broodmother's kept all of his Spiderlings in that lane, trying to keep the pressure up. But it keeps buying space for Illidan, who's asking for help. Like, he's just sitting next to Moon at the moment, wondering if they can get in close enough for it. And the answer is no. He'll back up.
It's just gonna take some farm again instead. I'm just not seeing Complexity applying much pressure here to anyone. I feel like they're playing it too passively. You know, it's Swindle Melons who tries to take charge of the ganks, but he's not the hero who can do it right now with these two Orchids. Yep. I'm just very puzzled by the fact that Z-Freak and Fly haven't seen them go together once, it feels like.
Z's
more or less.
Got to jump himself away. Well, here's at least your first moment. Z-Freak and Moon together. And now Swindle's moving up too, but it's too late.
They're just being kited and super outplayed right now. It's like VP kind of decide where Complexity go, and they never go there for a kill. They always go to defend. When they go for the kills, it's super ambitious and very unlikely kills.
Ultimate as well, the Sonic Wave. You can use up for the Echo Slam. He was looking for the instant kill, and FNG got it at the same time. You've just lost Lina. A solo kill for Phobos on the bottom lane. Now he adds his pressure into the tier 2 tower. Moon wants to defend the mid, but even then he's got to be careful as well. The top lane, you've got Illidan. Even when you think you've got him trapped, it's just doppelganger away. A sleight of fist from Z's, and there's almost no effect. Like, there's just no damage. He's got both of his damage deal items back in his stash at the moment, both the Broadsword and the Claymore, but he doesn't have slots he can really keep him on him. He needs everything else he's got to try and live, while Z-Freak, Illidan, he can just chase this one down. There's enough of him right now. The Sigil, he's got both Doppelganger as well as Lance. There's Snowball away, he goes down the Mud Golems. Is the TP going to be in time? One more attack from Illidan, he'll get it in time. Virtus.Pro moving beautifully, and they leave the Fissure block. Noon's in so much trouble. He'll drop the Tombstone, battling up against Illidan, but then with the Orchid on him, there's no Mordecai, there's no Soul Rip available. Swindle, he can try and go for the jump, but all he's going to find is creeps. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, the tier 3 tower's down to half-life. Virtus.Pro moving beautifully across this map. I think you said it perfectly, Cinderin. Complexity are just getting outplayed.
They have got to start taking some initiative. I was going to say, how long are they going to just accept the situation and not go for some sort of super aggressive play before it's too late? There's a smoke sitting on the Tusk that he could use together with Lina and go look for kills. And even if it turns into trades, anything is better than this. Swindle's trying to do it alone again. Like, this isn't... He's ambitious isn't the word for this. It's just flat out impossible to get this kill.
He burns 2/3 of his mana to try and catch up to the Broodmother to bring him down. But you're right, like how do you even kill off a Broodmother? If you dust him up, you've still got to dish out 1,300 damage. And that's into the Broodmother with all resistance. And all you've got is a Yule Scepter to work with. And now you're going to start losing mana as well. Illidan just finished up his Diffusal Blade 22 minutes in. With all the early game items he's really searching for as well. So you got double silencers. Phobos about to buy a BKB as too. He's 300 gold away from this. It is a very, very steep slope for Complexity to roll down. They're 5,000 experience behind, 11,000 gold behind, and we're only 22 minutes into a game where you've got two heroes, which we said at the very start, the Ember and the Storm. They are so weak early game, and if they don't have a good start, they remain weak. Find me some positive nature here, Sin. Like, I need something for Complexity, because right now, it just looks like they got nothing, even top lane. Like, you're gonna go again, it's actually the dive. You're behind tier 3 towers, almost to a tier 4 tower. Phobos just goes it.
Solos up the Ember. With a little bit, actually a little help from his friend there with a fissure, but gets the kill. Meanwhile, they're taking the top tier 1. Gank attempt in the middle lane from Complexity failed with Storm and Lina. So again, these pairings not really finding the ganks together.
And Virtus.Pro, when you're 13-1 in your deciding game, to decide who stays here at TI5.
Well, they lost the game, they were ahead 17-4, so it's got to be a little bit in the back of their minds to not throw this lead away. But in this game, it's way more straightforward how they need to control the map. Broodmother makes it very easy and natural how to just dominate and push out the lanes while they farm their PL. It's a... When you're in this position with a Brood pick, the game is much easier to play than the first game they had to win.
Swindle, you're out a very long way here, and then Yule stepped her up. He's got a little bit of life, 1,100, but the Earthshaker sitting on the rim of the fissure. Throws out the Echo Slam and finds the kill. And now Gold for another one of his own. Orchid's over on the Tusker, throws out the Sonic Wave, hits on 3, the Mech Charge from Moon's gonna keep Z-Freak alive. Just a fraction of a second longer. He still pops to the Orchid damage, and now Lil's even gonna find Moon grabbing Soul Rip at this point.
That is a very good spell to steal.
But you're keeping him occupied. The tier 2 tower was just taken on the top lane. This tier 3 tower is slowly being chipped away, and this is the way you want to see a Broodmother being played. You're in, you're doing damage to a tower. Once this is down, Complexity even have to start committing sentry wards to the bottom lane to try and keep Virtus.Pro out. And it's only the one hero. It's a Broodmother who has a full BKB, Orchid, and still another 1,700 gold. And Illidan now is pushing in with Illidan, and Illidan. It's all of the illusions working at the tier 3 tower. Complexity are just outnumbered.
This is one of the worst situations to be in a Dota game. I mean, being behind 15-1 is pretty bad, but in addition to that, you've lost all your outer towers. You're playing against Brood and PL, so you know there's like an impending doom. And you just feel like all your attempts to gank are unsuccessful. So you just, this type of game, you're going to see Complexity just keep running from lane to lane to lane, struggling to defend.
Here's a jump. Storm going after God. The snowball's coming as well. You know, all the stuns and the Laguna Blade committed. They finally get something, but meanwhile on bottom, Phobos took out the tier 3 tower. Up on top, Illidan is actually starting to chip away at the tier 3 tower as well. Complexity, they TP down a bottom lane, which is why this tower lost half of its life. You take the Quap. That's fantastic.
It's just too late. Like, the play they finally got together there with both Tusk and Lina combining in for that gank should have happened 15 minutes ago.
He just got scouted out. At the same time, like Ember, it's going to be Z-Freak TPing away to safety, so he will be fine. There's no stuns on a Phantom Lancer. But this is, yeah, as we see on the graph, it just moves up and up and up. You get one kill and it brings the experience down by maybe 500 and flatlines the gold advantage. Storm Spirit, wow, that's a long jump down, but FNG missing on the fissure, and now Phobos is in trouble until PKB. This is one big Broodmother going after Swindle. He's got enough for one more jump over the top of the fissure, and now with 5 heroes moving down, that BKB just lasts for so long. Phobos hides in the tree line, and Complexity, well, at least they burn the BKB time, but that's all. Illidan just keeps that pressure on top, and Complexity, once again, they go into damage control mode.
This Ember has to hold the base for quite a long time. It's a really good matchup having Ember against PL. He's one of the absolute best heroes against that hero in mid and late game. So that's the hope here for Complexity. If they had a little bit of a better early game, so the other heroes were doing better, they might have hopes at it. But, you know, Virtus.Pro will just keep split pushing. So Ember can't clean out all the Spiderlings and all the PL illusions at the same time. This is the same limitation as most other heroes. He can only be one place at once.
Just as a thought too, considering this is such a heavy illusion game for Virtus.Pro, or Spiderlings as well is the case, is this a point when you think it's going to be better to bypass the Chrysalis to try and go for a second Battle Fury?
It could be worth it here. I think this game is going to be all about just clearing. He needs to wave clear constantly. He needs to push out, and then just disengage and go back. Here we go. Illidan's going to force him back with a Diffusal Charge. And
wow, Echo Slam on bottom, but the heal center from Swindle. They got more than enough damage to finish the job. Swindle will drop, and Virtus.Pro, inch by inch, they are taking this game from Complexity. But the Ember, as you said, he's still the critical target. And they go again, the Orchid over on Moon. Unless he's got himself a Glimmer Cape, looking to try and turn around here and try and slow down Phobos. That's a big army of Spirelings. He's going to get the same back with the Undying minions. So many minions as they go in deeper, but they can't get the control over on Phobos.
if Illidan was still up top now, he would have dealt some pretty big damage.
Oh, they're back in again. Effigy! Laguna Blade takes care of the Earthshaker. Now they get the Walrus Punch on God. A blink away in time. Down to 300 life. Bottles up quickly.
BP need to be careful. They don't pull a game one. They're in such a commanding position that every kill actually gives Complexity quite a lot of money here.
If it makes you feel better, they have an extra 5,000 to 8,000 advantage over what they had in game one. So the ability to throw that much is a lot more difficult.
Didn't they have a 15k lead in that game?
I think it was 10k. It was up by 10, then down by 10.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, it wasn't.
Yeah,
more
Storm.
Than
that's a nope. That's a short jump by Swindle. I'm still waiting for his next item. I get 0-4 on a Storm Spirit. And what do you even go when you're the Storm Spirit? Like, do you look for your disable to try and catch these heroes out before they use their BKBs? Do you try and, like, he's never going to get enough money for a Scythe.
He's trying for a Bloodstone build-up, it seems, just the standard. Which, you know, if they get a good fight, it's such a really good comeback item because he will get the Bloodstone charges, be able to die and respawn very fast and take a fight. And have a lot of mana pool to fight inside the base, which is very important, jumping from Fountain and jumping back again and quickly resetting and rejoining fights. So I think it's a pretty good choice here. But it's all about the timing. Like, no matter what item he builds now, it's going to come out way too late. It's 29 minutes and he only has a Eul's. This is around the time where you would like to have 2 core items on Storm, like Bloodstone Orchid or Bloodstone Eul's or something like that. But
we got Nancer back on the Amber. That's a good observer ward finding Lil, but Lil gets a pick up over on Swindle. Phobos thinking about coming over in the Glimmer Cape from Undying, making sure Swindle can get back out to safety. And Ball Lightning now stolen by Rubik. So Lil's got his own long-range initiation.
Illidan has a Scadia as well.
Okay.
These items on VP are just so much better. And you look over the CS on complexity, but they're a little bit deceptive because of Broodlings just giving about a quarter of the gold that regular lane creeps give. And quite a few of Sizzy's CS have been Spiderlings, so he's definitely behind quite a bit on PL and Qual.
Zizzy also went for the Yasha, so we're not going to be looking at the crit. We're not looking at a high amount of damage. Instead, all the clearance. Instead, it's this Yasha into what? Manta to try and break free of Orchid?
Absolutely. This is the only reason he's getting it. It's to... Well, it's also decent stats for Ember. So it's not just for breaking Orchid, but there's way more cost-efficient items if it wasn't for that. Yeah. But he feels like he has to be able to break Orchid. And I can understand that, but it just puts even more control in VP's hands. You could say maybe he has to go for a cocky build so that they can find some fights where they get an advantage. Yeah. Rather than playing, you know, the survive VP game, they might have to play the let's try to kill VP.
Yeah. Win the game, don't play the game.
Yes.
Shake up. Well, Swindle's going to find him. FNG, a quick blink away. It broke the smoke, but they moved down further for Lil. But Lil out swindling Swindle. But can he get further away? He can with a fissure cover. And Complexity to say this is not working, but because again, they're getting pressured so heavily on bot lane, they have to bail out. Swindle is going to TP out now.
Free Roche, smoke wasted by Complexity. They found nothing.
And that Aegis Immortal is in the hands of Illidan. He's already difficult enough to kill with 2,300 in the life. But when he's in range of the Assault Cuirass as well, like when he's not, he's got 23 armor. Like, how do you even kill this cat? There really isn't an answer right now.
They can kill Illidan from full health if he's next to like 6 of his illusions.
Oh, the Echo Slam! FNG with a fissure, a 5-man fissure! The Storm Spirit will have to bite back as they snowball after Illidan, but as Phobos has gone after Moon, he's going to bring down the Undying. They move over to Fly. This could be it right now as the bottom racks. Finally, the range one is brought down. Well, the buyback will come out from Lina Fly. Back to the world of living, but can he find an opening? The Sentry Wall's down so they can see Phobos, but he BKBs. God, looking for that strike, gonna go into Z-Freak. That's Complexity, they're still a man down. Same for Virtus.Pro, they lost that Earthshaker, but what a start. What an initiation.
I think they got a 3-for-1 and a buyback there. That is more than good enough for VP for that exchange. They did lose their Aegis though. I guess they were hoping to find at least a melee Rex with that, but only got the range. But they can just slow play. Like, they are controlling the entire map, so they can farm all they want and wait for next Roche and then high ground again if they wish to wait that long. This very minimal counterplay potential coming out from Complexity right now.
Yep. And this is that moment where again we start looking at the timings of it all.
Must have been 2 buybacks, right?
Yeah, they got 2. It was Lina as well as Storm Spirit.
Yeah, Storm lost a lot of gold there, so.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But this is where I was going. The Storm Spirit, like, he was already so low on money, and now you're even lower. Like, you're never going to get to this next item. The Ember Spirit, all the weight is right now on the shoulders of the Ember, but Complexity, they're trying to find an opening. A solo FNG would be wonderful. The smoke's going to break. They find something better. They find God. Can they kill him with Laguna Blade? God's low. No blink away. He cannot get out in time. The Tusker takes over 1,000 gold for the kill, and they want more. FNG, Swindle jumps up. FNG's gone east, but that's a very good Earthshaker. He can't get himself out of this trouble that he's in. Meanwhile, on bottom, though, you got to pick up on the Ember Spirit as well as the Orchid Moon. He's the man that's in trouble. Phobos, man mode this one, but Flyers come back, and now VP, they've gone in a little bit too deep. They need more control on this Brood, but the BKB will now wear out. Sentry Wars are down, they've got the vision. Complexity, they're fighting back. Phobos drops. The middle lane still being pressured. The Swindlemelons jumping back from the PL, who doppelgangers away. Side of Fitzgerald chain, he can't find the real one. But Complexity, not only do they hold their racks and their towers, but they find 3 huge kills on Virtus.Pro.
This is a lot of money. Ember Spirit just got 1,000, Tusk just got 1,000, and Lina got 500. And the next item for Ember here, Manta is complete, and he has another 1,400, so he's probably going to be looking for another aggressive item now that he has the defensive Manta. What I got, Lina got the Yules. Storm is closing in on a Bloodstone. It's a start, but they have to do this like 3 or 4 times over without losing key buildings.
They're trying to repair a 25k gold deficit and a 16k experience deficit. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. They'll need a couple of daytime cycles for it. At the same time, Virtus.Pro now, like they've still been farming the entire time. Echo Slam, Swindle, real trouble, FNG. They bring down the Storm Spirit. And now there's a big hole in Complexity. There's 71 seconds, no buyback on the Storm. And they're going for more down the mid. In fact, with a snowball in, can they find the opening? Illidan dodging it out. He managed to doppelganger away, but still losing life quickly. They're all behind him. God lining up the Sonic Wave, hits them all, but the damage output, God wants Fly, and now Yulestep, the Robbie may not be able to get him. Will there be time? God, the BKBs are protecting him. FNG moving in for support as well with the Scream. God's doing it by himself. The snowball in, Z-Freak to blink away. God's gonna survive through all of this. In fact, he's denying himself up to center if he's not careful. There's a 2-for-1 trade-off. Moon will be able to bring down Lil, evening up the off, but FNG trying to solve against the Ember Spirit with a sleight of fist, dodging the Fissure. Complexity, they still hold the ground, and they waste the time of Virtus.Pro before the Storm Spirit was going to come back up.
Wait, okay, so I was trying to get a message through when that second fight broke out. Well, I think...
Who are you trying to call, Sint?
I think Swindlemelons just lost his Yules. I think he dropped it to get more out of his bottle in the bottom lane. Oh. And it got destroyed by the Shaker when he ganked him with the Echo. So that's a 2,800 gold loss. And that means should he get his Bloodstone, he can't play aggressively anymore, because now he's just going to get Orchided again. This ain't good. This ain't good. I saw Courier starting to fly toward bottom, so I was wondering if he had hit it in the trees while he was bottling, but it gave up. So I think they've just accepted the fact that it's on.
So what do you do? Like you want to finish your Bloodstone? Do you... so much money.
Actually. That's what you want to do, but I would not advise that.
Like,
in this situation.
efficiency be damned.
He's got to feel really sad about that. You know, when you go for that efficiency, it's the thing that, you know, it happens like 1 out of 100 games that thing happens to you, right? And then it has to be in the deciding game here. That is just so incredibly unfortunate for Swindle. And he obviously has to play on full efficiency, right?
They get jump, they're going up to Phobos. The pull back in with Laguna Blade. They find the pick off. Storm Spirit repairs a lot of what he lost by getting 1,000 gold for that kill, but now he's not getting it out. The Echo Slam, FNG's in. Moon, he needs to keep him alive. Swindle back in again. The Storm Spirit, he's doing the work. FNG's down. The Ember makes to jump himself back up, but Swindle needs more mana. Has enough. Back to the tree line. The stun from Fly, buying space. Z-Freak also with shards and punch available is going to try and TP out. Minimal casualties is the goal right now from Complexity. No more pickoffs, and in fact there won't be any. Brood down, Earthshaker down, space once again being created by Complexity. How big is this Ember getting? And when's his next item? He's got 4,000. Is this... I actually still think the Battlefield is probably going to be more effective than a Rapier game. But he's making the move over. It's a question mark. Just because it's an illusion game, you look to the Battle Fury.
You know that one Battle Fury hits really hard when you have plus 330 damage, right? It's pretty good. It's probably better for the price. But,
potentially.
You know, but if you lose it,
yeah,
it's a problem. Giving a Rapier to PL is not good either, or the Queen of Pain for that matter.
But then again, Ember Spirit, like, he's going to be buying out everything he's got anyway.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Rapier from Zizzy here. I don't think he's going to do it because they might feel like they can still win the fights, and incredibly they have managed to take some key kills here in the last 10 minutes, but realistically they shouldn't have found all these.
They're taking the first tier 1 tower, but Fly, the Observer was watching him. He's not going to be able to Yule Scepter in time to get away, while Swindle as well as Z. Yeah, they want to get out of here as well. I don't think Moon's going to be as lucky. They managed to hex him up. The Shard's actually making FNG walk around him. He will still drop. Popping the ulti at the last second, but now there's 70 seconds without an Undying and 43 without the Lina. No buybacks available again.
And it's actually crazy to think about how good Soul Rip is in this game for Little. He's stolen it again. He will always have a lot of units to heal from. Spiderlings, PL Illusions. He will be able to get the maximum impact from Soul Rip like almost every single team fight. There it is. The 39-minute Bloodstone. Unfortunately, he lost the Yule, so he's currently around, let's say, for a good Storm Spirit game, he's about 22 minutes behind par on his itemization because of that Yule's loss.
Life is hard.
It's a very, very sad game.
Ember Spirit, well, those Spirelings don't survive long. He'll defend Spirit away. Swindle still on the front lines, and it was, in fact, the Demon Edge being picked up by Ember, so he's got a little bit of extra damage as he jumps around and Searing chains up the creep wave. But the Milling Rax is low, the Shard's nice little off, but FNG, once again, perfect time from the Earthshaker. They need more, however, and they may just get an FNG dropping quickly. Fly's doing the work from the back lines, but Soul Rip that was stolen by Rubik keeps up that Earthshaker. 2 down, the Ember might have bought back, and they do keep on rampaging in. VP need more work. Moon on the front lines, fissured up. They're turning on him. The Glimmer Cape won't save you from this. He has to ulti. Decay, Soul Rip, Anthic, Illidan trapped again. Now the Ember coming back towards the front lines. They find the kill. The Storm Spirit goes down. VP now need to get out scot-free if they can. No fissure available, but all 5 heroes remain up for Virtus.Pro.
And that was a buyback from the Ember Spirit as well as the Lina. So they particularly got 4 for 0. They got a melee Rax, 2 buybacks. Well,
life is harder.
We're back to 25 again. They pulled it down a little bit, but it was only a little bit.
The experience at least had a bigger dip. The experience went down to 4,000.
Well, that's back to 15 again, so they lost all that lead as well.
Real issues are issues. Like 27 to 12, 40 minutes in, and you're down a 4 bottom racks. You're already having trouble dealing with that. But the Ember Spirit is doing whatever he can to keep the pressure out. So he pushes the lane as quick as he can. The Spirit's about to time out, however.
This is a very big item.
So he has to come back. The Butterfly?
Yeah. Until there's an MKB on the Ember, this makes Illidan so much tankier, including his illusions.
So this is the real bad time to bring up that Ember Spirit was only 700 gold away from getting the full Monkey King bar before that buyback.
I mean, it depends what perspective you look at it with. It's either a bad or a good time.
Yeah, depending which fans you're of.
Yeah.
Illidan already doppelgangering in. The smoke's going to break on Complexity. They try and Decay to get vision. But already VP have moved down, and they're looking at the Roshan. And they'll work through this fairly quickly, leaving Illidan by himself to do the work. And Complexity, is this the time, Swindle? Is this when you make up for the Yule Scepter loss? But Phobos is watching him so closely, so if you do jump in, you're gonna get orchided, and no Yules to dispel. You'll be in trouble. Now they have to let it go.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They'll back up. There's farm to be had on top lane.
This should be the game-ending push for VP that follows this. They have such a massive advantage. Killing this PL twice without MKB is going to be nigh impossible. They've managed to kill him. You saw the last fight, how much they put onto him to finally bring him down. They're going to need even more this time. There's an Aegis. And I think Rubik lost Soul Rip. He's still on Decay now. It's not as good. He might be able to find it again, or maybe find something even better for himself, like a
Blink Dagger,
a Laguna Blade, or Ball Lightning would be nice. Tombstone could be a nice steal too. Or it could actually backfire, because then Ember has some more stuff to jump on.
Well, right now, Ember's trying to mop up that bottom lane. There was a lot of creeps there, so he spent a lot of time bouncing around. But it's also the mid lane, more sleight of fist time, but the pressure coming in from all sides apart from top, and that's actually where Swindle is. Swindle's not even in base right now. He's still going to TP back. They may take the tier 1 tower on top lane. And Virtus.Pro, successful defense at the moment, but look at Phobos inside the base, chasing after Fly. He's going to orchid him up and try and force Swindle to TP back. The tower's still going to be fortified. The catapult will take care of it. But Swindle needs this time to regenerate. He's bottling up as quick as he possibly can. And again, this side of Fist, they waited for Z's to come back. And now they found the opening with a Sonic Wave Moon. He's going to drop as well. It's 2 down. Z3's going to join him with the Echo Slam. Just put the seal on the deal right now. Virtus.Pro, they're all over Complexity's base. And maybe they're about to eliminate them. Even FNG surviving on 50 HP. It's a double Raxing. And Complexity, we know they like to just hold on to the bitter end. but VP are about to claim Megas against Complexity. There are no buybacks on the 4 dead heroes of Complexity, and GG! Complexity will be eliminated from the International 5, and Virtus.Pro keep their run going through the lower bracket, the rough road to the grand final.
Oh, this looks like it's hard on Swindle. I think he takes a lot of responsibility in that game. He had a really, really hard time on his Storm Spirit. I feel like the draft for them also wasn't this good this time around, so understandably, he looks very frustrated there. And
Complexity came here to prove a point. They came here and they said in the interview, like, first is the only thing they'll accept. They'll be disappointed with everything else, and they want to prove to the world just how good a team they could be. Unfortunately for them, their road is over in Virtus.Pro. They keep theirs running after being knocked down in the tiebreaker match as well into the lower bracket. They were forced to run the rough road, and they've done well so far. For now, they get to enjoy their victory, and we'll get to enjoy our panelists.